Hey, everybody.
Mhm.
Come on in. Florida State, presented by Knowles 24/7 instant reaction rivalry loss. 28-22. Florida State falls to Miami in a game where, to be honest with you, the 6-point difference in score, it didn't feel like that most of the time. We'll get into it. We'll talk about the things that made us happy, made us sad, disappointed, uplifted us, whatever. It was a rivalry game that I feel like the crowd got taken out of it way too early. We'll talk about it. Florida State loses 28-22. They are now 3-2 after 5 games. And I think, guys, the one that hurt me the most about this one is that it felt like it was the death of the big dreams, right? All of the big dreams that you got after game one, it feels like this was the gravity pulling you back to earth. It's like, no, we looked at the roster. We felt this was a Duke's Mayo Bowl roster. You beat Alabama's ass. You had two warm-up games in between. We had some delusions of grandeur, and now no, you're an 8-win team. You better fight your ass off to get there. And I think, other than it being a rivalry game, that was the saddest thing about this. Is it was the nail in the coffin of your big dreams for the 2025 season. Am I misreading this, or like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I do think, I think you're right. I think that, we going after the Alabama game, you're sitting there thinking, have we recaptured the magic of 2023? Are things going to be back on track? And now things are looking more like 2022, which honestly is an optimistic viewpoint. You still ended up winning, I think, 10 games that season.
Correct?
That this game, has a lot of the same beats as that Clemson game from 2022, where you show up at a home game where you feel like things are going your direction and just the more talented team just slowly stomps you out. And, you then fight back at the end just for Kirk Herbstreit to get some spiel about how, Florida State should be proud of a team because they never gave up but I mean, this is year 6. Maybe I shouldn't be proud that you never gave up. Maybe I should be disappointed you never showed up in the first place.
Yeah.
I should be disappointed that now 2 games in a row you're fumbling in the first half. I'm disappointed that 2 games in a row you're having stupid penalties that are derailing drives against teams that are good enough to beat you if you do that. 2 games in a row, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And yeah, we're going to hear about. I agree with all the takes about Miami building a better roster, Miami being more talented, Miami being XYZ. You are good enough to play with Miami. You are good enough to beat Virginia by multiple touchdowns, but you didn't. And that's a problem, and that's a problem that's consistent.
And I think that's fair because, especially in the first half, it reared its ugly head. You were down 14-3. It should have been a 1-score or less than a 1-score game, right? Like, it was self-inflicted penalties. Like, it's not our coaches coaching themselves out of a talent deficit. Miami obviously had the talent advantage, like, done, not a problem, but not enough to where, like, you executed at a lower level than the talent that you had. And it felt like it. I want your opinion on this, guys, because it was an interesting thing to see. I felt like sometimes we called the game like we were of a Miami of Ohio against an Ohio State. Like, I don't think we had to go with the effectiveness of the base offense. I don't think we had to get so tricky at the beginning. Like, I felt like we tried to get too cute. I felt like we tried to show them that our coaches are smarter than theirs. Like, you could have had a closer performance than what you showed tonight with the guys that you brought. And even though the guys that you brought were less than the guys that Mario brought, it was very disappointing. Adam, what do you think about that? Like, do you think we got too cute? Like, what do you think about the performance of the guys that we brought to the dance?
Yeah, I mean, this is another week. I said it last week and got a lot of pushback. I'll say it again this week. Your team built all around your offense, and your offense let you down again.
Definitely this week.
I feel like Gus called this football game like he was a massive underdog. And I just thought that you, in the first half, put yourself in situations that were not tenable against a good team. You would get a good play, a good start to the chains, and then you'd run a trick play and get yourself behind off schedule. And you're just not good enough to respond from that. Go ahead.
And Adam, in your defense, like you're 100% right. Florida State outgained Miami 404 yards to 338. You outgained them on the ground 132 to 198, which is their bread and butter, and also in the air 272 to 240. So you're 100% right. Like we this was not some talent. Like there was a talent disparity, but not so much in the way that the game was called. Like it was just
but you called the game like there was a massive talent disparity. And there is
100%.
There is a talent disparity. They're better than you at every position, just about. I mean, there may be one or two that you're better than them, but they're better than you at every position. But you were close enough talent-wise, in my opinion, to be in this football game.
Yeah.
And I thought that as the game kind of got going, you went out, you had your scripted drive. That looked great. Should have been a PI down there. You should have had a touchdown.
Right.
And I thought that just kind of as the first half played itself out through the first quarter, you started calling this game like it was a massive talent disadvantage in your favor, and that you started running these trick plays. And I just thought it created a scramble drill, and it looked like it leaked itself into Tommy's play, and then Tommy got very erratic. And that's when you started seeing the turnovers. It just felt like there was so much pressure. And I just really felt like all the trick plays you were throwing at him in the first half, and none of them were working. It just felt like desperation. And it felt like your quarterback kind of took on that mantra as the game was going on. And that was really frustrating for me, because I thought you were running the ball well enough that you could kind of sustain some drives against them. Maybe not every time. But did you just not trust your defense? Like, defense was playing okay. They were playing all right. Like, I don't know why you felt this need to be so panicky, but they did. And it feels like 2 games in a row that Gus has really shit the bed as a play caller, in my opinion. And I know I'm going to get pushed back because 2 weeks ago they scored 30-some points, but I thought Gus was panicky in that game too. And it just feels like teams have adapted. And Gus is not having a lot of good answers to that right now besides trick plays.
And what's frustrating about that, in my opinion, is that your base stuff in the first half I thought was working really well, especially with Usman Chroma in the backfield. Like the change of pace trick stuff that you go to has been well scouted out. Heatherman scouted you out. Like you never got them on any of it. Like
they had a week off to freaking prepare for everything. I mean,
absolutely, for sure.
Their blitz prep packages were clearly they had a lot of scouting on you that you probably don't get if you have an actual game before that. But that's neither here nor there.
And I do like hat tip to them. The delayed blitzes that they brought their DBs on were really, really well timed. They did a great job. However, it's not like you had to go to the trick plays out of desperation. The base stuff was working well with Usman Chroma, with Gavin Sawchuk. Like I wish that we wouldn't have played them so much like we were a bigger underdog than we were. Kev, like, what do you think? Like, of the offense, we'll talk about the offensive performance. Obviously, they only lost by 6. But watching the game, it doesn't feel that way. What did you think of the offensive performance, the play calling, the execution? It seemed real sloppy against, I will say, a very talented Miami front seven.
So I'm going to say something. I'm going to first agree with AB and then give kind of the devil's advocate look at it. First is that Tommy looked like a completely different player when the game was out of hand. When there was no chance to win the game, when there wasn't this pressure to do certain things, he looked like a completely different player. And as a coach, it's your job to build a game plan to allow him to be that from the first snap.
Like all the time, yeah.
Right. It's your job to build the team, because I'll say I think when Tommy's in his head, first half, Tommy Castellanos, yeah, he's the quarterback that all the critics say that he is. He's not good. He's whatever. But the Tommy you see in the fourth quarter, the Tommy you see when things are going well, the Tommy you see when he's not in his head about things, I think can be a pretty special college quarterback. I think he can be pretty darn good. And, it's on the coaches to figure that out. And if they can't figure that out, they fail themselves, they fail him, and they fail the program, in my opinion, because he's good enough. He's got enough talent there. There's something there that is special enough to make a really good offense. And I don't think that they put him in a position to succeed these past 2 weeks, especially in the first half. Now, the devil's advocate argument about that plays into the Gus game planning. I think some of this, getting behind the chains, going for these jugular trick plays are not really something that is his forte. And I don't think that's what you need. I think you need things. I think you need to open it up. I think you need to give him the option to play just a little bit more backyard football. Instead of designing these like super complicated tricks, let him move around, design some more rollouts, get him on the move, get wide receivers downfield, working back towards him, scramble drill. I think you have to start looking at your offense in that vein as long as he's your quarterback. The devil's advocate is that you beat Alabama throwing a bunch of trick plays at them. And I know people are going to say, well, they hadn't gotten a chance to scout them. No, these are the same trick plays Gus Malzahn has always run.
Yeah.
It's not like Alabama wasn't surprised about these trick plays. They didn't draw up trick plays that they've never done before. You disagree, Abby?
You ran the reverse in that game, and that was about it.
You ran
they ran four consecutive drives tonight with an end around or a flea flicker or something. I mean, I think that's drastically different than the Alabama game where you ran two end arounds. I mean, I thought there was. I don't buy that. I think I disagree greatly on that. But I mean, look, it's not. My point about the trick plays is more to the mindset of what I thought it created for Tommy. And I thought it put Tommy in a headspace where he was panicky. I thought it created panic. It's not, trick plays are great. There's a huge success rate on trick plays. Gus has done all the data on that stuff. He's talked about it plenty of times. They're fun. They're great. And Gus, you need those in this offense to try to create explosives, because explosives win you games. My concern about it was it just felt like it put Tommy in a weird headspace where he was very panicky and had his eyes down, and just it didn't feel like it created a good atmosphere for Tommy to be successful. And maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was just the pressure that he was under from Bain and the other kid, Mesidor. I mean, maybe it was that, or maybe it's just a combination of both. It just felt like, in my opinion, that it created this rush for your offense instead of just staying patient. Against Alabama, how many times you just take a 2-yard run, a 2-yard run, a 2-yard run, and then a Tommy scramble on third down for a first down? Like,
yeah, did it feel like you were?
Couldn't that be your game plan tonight in a game where it was 3-0 and then 7-3, and it's just like, just stay.
Well, they were. To be fair, Castellanos took a lot of those like intermediate, like to short runs a lot of the time. Unfortunately, the problem was you'd have a Jacob Rizzi miscue, you'd have a fumble, you'd have an interception. Like they were playing within themselves, in my opinion. in the first half, that's where I think the game was lost in the first half, in my opinion. They let it get out of hand, but they were executing at a high level in the first half, and they let it get away from them. Like they committed penalties, a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play, and then it was done. And they had it right there. That's what's very frustrating about this game. If you watch from the second half on, I would say that Miami had a higher degree of domination than you would think. But in the first half, Miami only deserved to be up by like 4 to 6 points. So this is a very interesting game, right? Like, what do you guys think about that? They were a lot of missed opportunities in the first half, and it wasn't physical domination.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can look at this game from two perspectives. You can look at this game that Miami played, in my opinion, pretty vanilla, at least offensively. Their offensive game plan wasn't anything special. They ran right at you. They ran right at you. They threw in a zone or two, but this is what they do. They fall forward. They get 3 to 4 yards every run. They force those safeties up, play action over the top.
Now, Kev, in the first half, I feel like they did try to tendency break a little bit. Like they actually hit some deep plays and went for them more than I expected, right?
Yeah, and that's what you were giving them. You were cheating up. You were saying, we're going to stop the run. Tony White decided essentially the game plan, it seemed, from FSU side was we're going to stop the run. And you still really you kept them from getting explosive runs, but they were still able to be successful. They were still able to move the chains. They were still able to do, 3 yards in a cloud of dust on you, which is what they want to do. And you never made them uncomfortable. You never forced, Carson Beck to do something that won them the game outside of that fourth down conversion. He got to sit back, and when he threw the ball, it was on 2nd and 6, and he knew that, he could play action and sit in the pocket all day. They were comfortable, and I think part of that is talent. I think part of that is that your defensive, you don't have pass rushers who can also, stop the run. So you're sitting here having to put a whole new defensive line in every time it's a passing down. You went out and spent a whole bunch of money on, a defensive end that you can't even play right now.
Yeah. But situational, you're spending a ton of money on a situational DN. That's a fair thing to say about James Williams.
So you can look at this game and say Miami played very conservatively, and even despite not doing anything fancy, they didn't have to do anything, and they were still able to get up 28-3. They didn't do anything fancy. They had some nice blitzes schemed up, and they had a good defensive game plan. All hats off to them for that. Offensively, they didn't have to do anything. They were able to just push you down the field and keep their quarterback very comfortable. That's a talent thing. That's a talent issue. They've built that offensive line from the bottom up. They've recruited well. They've done all of those things. I think their strength and conditioning probably got better this offseason when that dude retired, because they look like a different football team than they did last year. At this point on both lines of scrimmage, their defensive line is always supposed to be good, but this year it is good.
So Kevin, your opinion, it wasn't so much a scheme issue. It was more of a talent issue, and then letting that talent do what it needed to do, right? Like this is years of compounding recruiting deficit rearing its ugly head, right?
I mean, that's one way you can interpret this game. That's one, I think, very plausible, reasonable way you can interpret this game. Miami is more talented. They've built a better roster. They came out and they beat you. They beat you, and they didn't have to sweat too much to do it. It looked pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
The other way you can look at it is that FSU, was kind of going blow for blow. All the, stats say that this game was closer than, was as close as it looks, at least the advanced analytics. And,
right.
If you don't fumble the ball a couple of times, if you don't make these key mistakes, if you complete one or two of these passes, you win this football game. I think that's also kind of a reasonable thing to say. Florida State played sloppy despite it and was still, like it's Miami's a better, more talented football team, and you played sloppy.
Yeah, it's not mutually exclusive. Adam, how do you feel about it? Do you feel like the tail of the tape was the talent advantage of years accruing and then rearing its ugly head, or this game was a little bit closer than it appears, and the less talented team did not execute at the level that it is shown to execute at in previous games?
Yeah, I think that second one sums up kind of where my headspace is at.
Okay.
And you went down 7-3, okay, and then you're driving, you're at the 40, and you throw up look like kind of a 4 verticals, but the 2 outside guys were running stop routes on a trick snap. Again, we're trick snapping the ball instead.
It's
of
the same play they ran against Alabama.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a well scouted trick mouth play.
Yeah. So I think that needs to come into the conversation here. And yeah, I mean, I do believe Pettis was still in the game, but he may have been out by then. I know he went out kind of early-ish in the game. So, I mean, but Tommy gets some pressure. He doesn't step into a throw. He kind of underthrows the ball. So you're 7-3. You throw an interception. They return it back to like your 40, and then they take a shot and go up 14-3. Like, that really swung the game for you there. So, yeah. I mean, you're not as talented as they are, but I think you're close enough. And it just you couldn't make those mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be the worst team and have 3 turnovers. It just that kills you, and that's essentially what happened. And it's why they lost the game. Again, this offense is supposed to carry you, and they're not freaking doing it.
No, not in the times when it matters, for sure.
Nope.
Is it one of those things where this is like the program question, right? You had the momentum after week 1 and week 2 and week 3, and guys, what do we do with it? Like, this is a massive recruiting weekend. Can they spin it into a win? Like, are we clawing back to 8 wins? Like, is this like a Duke's Mayo Bowl, like, by the skin of our teeth team? Like we all thought at the beginning of the year. That's what's really heinous about this start, right?
Trey.
You beat Alabama's ass. You have the first other 2 wins, and then we still end up at the same place that we thought we were going to end up at the beginning of the season, 8-4. Like, that's what kills me, is because I'm thinking about the health of the program, because this game, losing it, was the death of all of I said it at the beginning of the broadcast. It was the death of all of your big dreams. Now you're back into the bubble where you thought you're who you thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, guys, can we make the Mayo Bowl? Like where are we at? What are your expectations for the rest of the year? I want to hear it.
I mean, you got a whole bunch of games you should win. Pitt looks pretty good today. They blew out Boston College, and now we're sitting here. 3 weeks ago, you beat Alabama, and now I'm having to sit here and say, this middling ACC team beat out a bottom tier ACC team. They're a real threat. For Florida State.
Because we're a middling tier SEC team, like ACC team now, right?
They look a lot better after they fired their coach. Is that an easy win anymore? I don't know. Run the table. You can. None of these teams besides Florida have any talent.
Clemson and Florida.
Clemson, yeah, they have talent. They can beat you. The other teams can beat you if you show up and you poop the first half. The first half matters. The first 30 minutes of gameplay matter. I don't know if this team has figured that out yet, but they do. And I don't know. Run the table. Go say this is 2022 FSU, and you've got 2023 FSU locked and loaded for next year. That you're going to keep building off of this and finish the season strong, because you should be able to beat every team that's left on your schedule. But you should have been able to beat Virginia.
It's a good point. Adam, how do you feel?
Don't
Like
ask me,
what is
Don't
your?
ask me.
I have to. You're
Trey,
the other. You're
Mike
the other.
Norvell has shown you who he is.
Oh,
When
so
somebody tells you who they are, believe them.
we have a
That
crisis
son
of
a gun
confidence.
that son of a gun isn't going to go magically start recruiting better, and that son of a gun isn't going to magically go run the table of the ACC. The rest of the schedule.
We got 7 games left, Adam. What do you think our record is at the last 7? You're 3-2.
I think they're going to be 7-5. I think they'll be 7-5 or 8-4, just like I thought at the beginning of the season. Because Mike Norvell is an average football coach at this point in his career, and this is an average football team under Mike Norvell because he hasn't done the job he needed to do to acquire talent. Why in the hell didn't this team play this hard last week?
Why didn't they play this hard?
You were undefeated on the road, ranked number 9 in the country. Why in the hell didn't you play this hard last week?
And it's so easy to see, like, oh, it's a trap game. Is it really a trap game? Is it really a trap game when everybody's telling you in your face that it's a trap game?
It's just what the man does every season. It is who he is. He has shown us who he is.
It unfortunately,
we have invested so much freaking money in this football-only facility, in this stadium, and all these projects that now you have to sit on this sucker till 2027 probably.
I would have
paid Ruben Bain with all that money.
It does seem to be a team that plays to the level of its coaching, no matter who the hell they're playing, right? Like there's
how many big games have we had where somebody fumbles a ball at a bad spot, or when somebody freaking has a stupid penalty? How in the hell does Jacob Rizzi get that personal foul penalty tonight? You're down. You just give. Okay, you go interception. You're up 3. They go down, score 7-3. You throw the interception, they go 14-3. You're driving the ball again, and you have a personal foul penalty that stalls yet another drive. How many times in a big game has that happened under Mike Norvell?
Especially when you're the team that like prides itself in being the smarter team than Mario Cristobal's team. Like, they outplayed you tonight, and they out efforted you, and they out football smarted you. Like, easily. Like, they let you get all up in your emotions and do dumb shit while they were also outplaying you. It's an eye-opening experience, man. Like, a
Mike Norvell experience in year 6 of his program. Year 6, bro. Year 6. Sorry. Let that sink in. I mean, I'm not trying to be. I was trying to be calm.
No, it's a mess, dude. It's a mess, and we all know
they've created a mess for themselves with all the crap that's going on, and you got 2 more years of this nonsense. I mean, if he magically figures it out and starts recruiting better, great. I will support him to the death. But he's not. He's not. He hasn't so far. How did you watch Georgia, however many years ago at this point, beat your ass 63-3 and not think, I might want to get some guys like that. Maybe I should try to do that. No.
Well, this is we'll get to the existential crisis talk. Why do we have to NC State the Clemsons when we are a power in this conference?
Why are we losing to Virginia?
Why are we having to figure out how to do more with less when we are the juggernauts of the conference? It's a wonderful conversation. It's one that we're going to have for you guys on Knowles247.com on the website. We're gonna have it. We're gonna have it because the Pitt game just got infinitely more important, and we will be here for that because you're fighting for a middling tier ACC bowl game yet again. as a traditional ACC power conference, as a traditional, like, new blood. God, I'm going to get pissed off. Anyway, I love you guys. Let's keep chopping. Love the season so far. Went up, went down. I'm getting pissed off.
I love a
I
roller
love
coaster.
you a lot. I have to go before I say things that will get me in trouble. Keep chopping.